Welcome to the Baku City Circuit, where free practice for the European Grand Prix is about to get underway. This is a technical circuit which will nonetheless see some huge speeds, with a near flat-out final sector that's twice the length of the back straight in Shanghai. Let's see who can find the right balance in their setup today. Now then, Anthony Davidson, there's been a lot of talk over the last few weeks about track limits. How much is too much when you're cutting corners and running wide? What are your thoughts on this? And do you think we'll be seeing drivers pushing those limits this weekend?
Well, I'd be disappointed if we didn't, frankly. If race control want to clamp down on drivers wandering off the track, then it's up to them to police it. As a driver, you're being paid to get your car around the circuit as quickly as possible, don't forget. So if you're not pushing those limits, if you're ignoring the advantageous line, then you're not doing your job properly. Now, I agree that, we have these white lines there for a reason, and we do want to see those limits enforced, but for me, it's not a driver's responsibility to do that.
We'll make the changes you requested.
anything can happen in Formula One, and of course it usually does. Each team has their own story to tell here today, and they all want it to end the same way, on that coveted top step of the podium. With 20 turns and a length of 3.7 miles, Baku City Circuit in the heart of the Azerbaijan capital is a real test of a driver's endurance, patience and precision. 90-degree corners through Sector 1 lead into a tightening uphill sprint as we start to circle around the old city. Then a 1.4-mile chase flat out through Sector 3 towards the finish line. Anthony Davidson joins me today as we look ahead to something just a little bit different. It's quite high speed for a street circuit here, isn't it? Do you think that's going to throw up any unexpected situations?
Well, as long as the teams can keep everything cool, I don't foresee any particular big issues from a technical side of things. I do expect the track to be quite slippery though. We've not exactly had much chance to rubber in the surface. Any street circuit also comes with its own challenges, so I think we'll be seeing a few mistakes here and there. The smart strategy would be to expect a safety car, I think, especially early on when the pack is bunched up.
You've done well to put it on pole, but we've still got work to do. Trying to cover the inside line off the start.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position, with Nico Rosberg alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Vettel, Kimi Raikkonen and Ricciardo, Bottas, Perez, Massa and Nico Hülkenberg, Grosjean, Button, Fernando Alonso and Sainz, Kvyat, Gutierrez, Pascal Wehrlein and Marcus Ericsson, Haryanto and Nasser, Kevin Magnussen and Jolyon Palmer rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. brilliant stuff from Red Bull today. What a superb victory. Anthony, what do you think made the difference here?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
And I can see now the drivers are making their way out. We need Red Bull fighting at the front. They do an incredible amount for Formula One. And that's another winner's trophy heading back to Milton Keynes. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. It's a good result for Max Verstappen, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. And now I'd like to ask you, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
Let's give it to Kevin Magnussen. That was a commanding performance today, very impressive indeed.
On to the constructors then. It was a tough race for our championship leaders who lose ground at the top of the table. That's it for today's Grand Prix, and from Ant and I, it's goodbye, and see you again next time. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. It's a good result for Max Verstappen, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Moving on to the driver of the day then. Anthony Davidson, who would you go for?
Well, he had a great drive today, somewhat unexpected maybe, but I'm going to go for Kevin Magnussen. Quick, clean, and in control. It was everything you could ask for.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. Well, what a weekend that has been. Please join us next time for another thrilling instalment of this Formula One season.